Will the British pound push down to weekly demand this week? Let's take a look in this week's Forex Forecast. All right, starting things off with the US dollar Cot Report. The past week, the banks got rid of 5,192 long positions, and they also got rid of 924 short positions. And remember, if you do want this Cot Report spreadsheet, lifetime access, check out the description down below to Patreon. And looking at the weekly chart here of the US dollar, remember, I did point out this weekly demand, and that is why we are seeing a move up in the US dollar index. And if you actually go to a 4-hour chart, we had a pretty significant thing take place. We had a very clean 4-hour uptrend for a while. We had this supply zone that was responsible for removing the upward trend line, and we actually removed that supply zone, and we are now reacting off of the demand that removed that supply zone. So in my opinion, if the US dollar is going to go up, I think this is where it will go up from. And who knows, if we do break this demand, push down lower, we have a 4-hour downtrend, then at that point, I think that the US dollar will probably be going much lower to where I'm not really sure, probably back to that weekly demand that I pointed out earlier. So as far as the US dollar index goes, we're going to have to keep an eye out on that 4-hour demand zone that I just pointed out to you guys to see if it holds or if it breaks. All right, onto the euro US dollar. In the past week, the institutions got rid of 8,417 long positions, and they also got rid of 22,946 short positions. Now remember, we are in contact with this weekly area of demand. It is looking very weak, and like I said in last week's forecast, I talked about how the demand zone is really right here. This wick, I'm just including it, but it pretty much is broken right now, so I would almost disregard that weekly demand zone. And more importantly, we are actually inside of a daily demand zone, and that is why we have seen the euro start to rally up a little bit, and that is my opinion. And as far as the 4-hour chart goes, we did lose momentum here, and if you do believe the euro is going to go up, you could look for longs inside of this 4-hour demand zone at 1.055. Or if we do break this high, that would give us a 4-hour uptrend. At that point, looking for longs on day trading timeframes would certainly be okay. So as far as the euro goes, it's really all going to depend on if we do get a 4-hour uptrend or not, or if we remove the 4-hour demand that was down below. And of course, if we do start to trend down again, we have this daily demand to get through first. But if we do remove this daily demand on the euro, that would be a pretty bearish sign to me, and that would make me want to feel more comfortable shorting the euro US dollar, because I don't really feel comfortable shorting the euro US dollar unless we either pull up to this 3-month supply above, or if we remove this daily supply or demand, and if we're left with a new daily supply zone, I could potentially look for shorts in there. So as far as the euro goes, we're just going to have to watch the 4-hour and the daily chart. All right, onto the forecast for gold. The past week, the banks got rid of 33,119 longs, and they also got rid of 1,653 shorts. Now, in last week's forecast, I did say I wanted you guys' opinion on this weekly demand, and I would be giving away a silver membership to the person, to somebody who commented. And congratulations to Shady Mooley. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Congratulations to you. You did win a silver membership for a month. So if you don't know what a silver membership is, these are all the membership options you can see on the screen. So he won the silver membership. I do have all the way up to diamond as well. So definitely check out all these memberships in the description down below if you want more access to my charts on a regular basis and daily market breakdowns and everything you see on the screen. We'll be happy to see you guys join the team, and congratulations to you, Shady. And on to gold now. We are reacting beautifully off the weekly demand that I pointed out for quite a while now in the last couple weeks. And in my opinion, it's all bulls right now on gold. Yes, we are a little overextended, but we are seeing 4-hour demand zones being respected here. So what I'm looking for, I think it's going to happen, is we're probably going to get a deeper pullback into gold. And if we get something like this with a very clean uptrend on the 4-hour chart, then I would be very interested in potentially, I don't really day trade, but I think at that point, day trading longs would be completely fine. As far as trading gold goes now, there is this 4-hour demand all the way down here. You could look for confirmation if we do get a pullback up to there, but if it's going to happen, it's a little bit difficult to see right now. So as far as gold goes, really not seeing any setups. I wish that this 1-hour demand zone down here, this setup was in place, so I could have showed you guys for this forecast video, but obviously that already took place. So as far as gold goes now, we need to either wait for a 4-hour uptrend that's clean, or new 4-hour, 1-hour demand zones to look for longs coming off of that weekly demand with profits all the way up to basically 1943 at that weekly supply. I think would be fine on gold. All right, looking at the USDJPY Cot Report, the past week the banks added 3,035 longs, and they also got rid of 5,994 short positions. Now looking at the USD yen here, we are reacting off of this daily supply, and we are already starting to see a move down from the supply. There's a few daily supply zones up above. As far as the yen goes, now I'm really not interested in trading this one. We do have a 4-hour uptrend, but if you look here, we are starting to actually break below my trend line on the 4-hour chart. So it looks like this 4-hour uptrend is basically about to come to an end, and we could be pulling back to 134.78 on that 4-hour chart to that 4-hour demand. And if I think looking for confirmation longs in that 4-hour demand, like I just pointed out, would be okay, because if you look at the weekly chart, we reacted off weekly demand. There is profit margin to the upside. So if you are bullish, I think that 4-hour demand zone will be good for confirmation trades. If you don't know what confirmation trading is, check out my trading tips playlist. Links in the description down below. I do have a few videos on confirmation trading. That being said, that's pretty much all I see here on USDN. We are inside of this 1-hour demand, but it is looking pretty weak. We already had the reaction off of it. It is looking like it wants to continue to fall further. And like I said, if it does fall further, looking at the 4-hour chart, this is where I think we are probably headed, down to that 4-hour demand at 134.78. GBPUSD forecast. The past week, the banks added 10,897 long positions, and they also added 6,700 short positions. Now, at the beginning, the intro, I talked about how will the British pound pull down to this weekly demand, and we are seeing evidence on the lower time frames that could possibly be happening. The first sign was that we broke the daily uptrend, and we pointed out this daily supply. I pointed out that daily supply ahead of time. Look at the reaction off of the supply zone. So that is the one piece of evidence that I've seen that price is going to go further down. And I will go to a 4-hour chart in a minute, but before, if you just look at this daily chart, if we do break this daily demand that we've seen a reaction off of once, twice, almost 3 times now, and actually 3-4 times, if we do break this demand and we're left with daily supply, this would be a great daily supply zone to potentially look for a short trade coming off of that daily supply. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we are seeing the evidence we need to see that shows us that the British pound could be pulling back to that weekly demand. So if this 4-hour downtrend continues like this, then I think all signs are pointing down to pushing down to that weekly demand. But now that we are contacting this trend line again, if we do break above and if we're left with 4-hour demand and that 4-hour demand holds, then obviously we are probably going higher on the British pound. So as far as direction goes in the pound, I would just watch what this 4-hour chart does. If we continue to have a 4-hour downtrend, then it's shorts all the way on day trading timeframes. And if we get a 4-hour uptrend, then it's longs on day trading timeframes. So hopefully that makes sense on the GBPUSD. I personally, like I said, will be watching the 4-hour chart to see what happens with that downtrend, to see if we will be, in fact, pulling back to that weekly demand zone at 1.16. All right, onto the USDCAD forecast. The past week, the banks added 9,795 long contracts, and they also added 6,888 short contracts. Now, I did point out this daily demand zone. I said it's possible that the institutions could push price down to this daily demand to fuel for a bigger move up. We haven't really seen any evidence of that. If you come to a 4-hour chart, we've actually seen nothing but strength in the USDCAD. And this is a 4-hour demand zone that I pointed out for the Diamond Mentorship Patreon and YouTube members, this 4-hour demand zone. And what a move from here. I'm pretty sure one of the members caught a trade off that zone. So just wanted to point that out. If you want to see more about what all that's about, go to my Instagram at FXTelepath to see the accuracy of my zones in more detail. So we have seen nothing but strength on the 4-hour chart. Now, if we zoom in on the most recent price action, we had a decent little 4-hour demand zone here, reacted, actually broke through, left us with supply, kind of pierced through. So clearly right here, we are seeing some sideways price action in USDCAD. So to be very clear, if we do end up breaking above and continuing this 4-hour uptrend, then it's longs all the way on day trading timeframes. For now, I don't think trading the USDCAD is a great idea. And here's why: because of this sideways price action, because this could be the start of a new trend down. So like I said, we need to either wait for the trend to continue to the upside, or if we continue to break down and maybe pull up, push down, get a clear peak and a clear valley with a trend line, then at that point we would have an H4 downtrend, and then we could start to day trade short with a very, very clear profit target all the way down to this daily demand. That is why I like to trade with the trends whenever I see profit margins. So just looking at the daily chart here, if we do get that 4-hour downtrend, that's fantastic because we can see the profit margin down here is pretty large. So that's why we could look for shorts down to daily demand where we look to take profits. So hopefully that breakdown on USDCAD makes sense. Just going to be waiting on the 4-hour chart to see if we continue the trend up or down and then trade accordingly. AUDUSD forecast. The past week the banks got rid of 6,293 long contracts and they also got rid of 8,780 short contracts. So look at the weekly chart here, very similar to the pound. It's all about whether we will pull back to this weekly demand. So with that being said, let's go down to the lower time frames to see what's taking place. Well, we do have that 4-hour downtrend still. Yes, this most recent price action is going sideways, but it's possible we are just pulling up to this 4-hour supply zone where we could see a reaction off of. So I would definitely keep an eye on this 4-hour supply at 0.68. Now, hopefully we do continue to trend down because the profit margin down to that weekly demand is very, very clear in my opinion. Now, if we do push up to this trend line and zone and break above the zone, then at that point, I think we need to hold off on trading the Aussie. So if we break the supply zone and the downward trend line and we get I would stop trading in this area. But if we do get a 4-hour uptrend at that point, then we can start to look for longs. So it's shorts all the way on the Aussie US dollar here. We just need to wait for a new 4-hour supply zone to be formed or look for confirmation in that 4-hour supply zone I pointed out, or wait for a new 4-hour downtrend where we break these lows, and then we can look to potentially day trade short the Aussie US dollar, like I said, with clear profit margin down to 0.649 at that weekly demand on the Aussie US dollar. USDCHF forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 558 long contracts and they added 1,388 short contracts. Now, looking at the 4-hour chart, we had a very clean, consistent 4-hour uptrend, but very similar to a lot of the other charts, we are losing momentum and we are actually breaking below the 4-hour chart now, or sorry, the 4-hour trend line. So to me, it looks like we could be starting a new 4-hour downtrend, or at least be going sideways for a while since we have broken that 4-hour uptrend. And why did the 4-hour uptrend break? Well, in my opinion, it's very obvious why. And we have a daily supply zone here. We've reacted off this supply already once, twice, coming in for the third test. So in my opinion, based on supply and demand, it is getting weaker. So what I would like to see for longs and USD Swiss, to be very clear, we either need to wait for that 4-hour uptrend to continue and we can look for longs on day trading timeframes, or if we do remove this daily supply like this, and if we're left with daily demand, you could look for confirmation trades long in that daily demand. So that's all I really would be doing here on the USD Swiss. It's really the only setup that I see, and obviously there's not even a setup yet. We just need to be patient and wait to see what happens. So like I said on this 4-hour chart, we're either going to, if we break above that high and continue the 4-hour uptrend, then day trading longs are fine. That is, like I said, that is one option, or we wait for that daily supply to be removed and look for longs in the daily demand that breaks the daily supply. So this 4-hour chart is very important here. This little reaction we're seeing below the trend line could just be like a little fake out and we could continue up, or who knows, we could be seeing new downward pressure on the US dollar in general, especially coming off that daily supply. So we're going to have to keep an eye on the 4-hour chart on the USD Swiss franc. Last but not least, we are on to crude oil. The past week, the banks got rid of 3,112 long contracts and they added 16,557 short contracts. Now, full disclosure, I'm still long on oil. I'm still holding, looking to add to my position. Unfortunately, I have not seen any decent 4-hour zones to potentially look for longs in. Now, there is profit margin up to weekly supply, at least this supply, and I think we could even push up here and even higher in like the long term. That is why I am very bullish oil at these lows. So that's why I'm looking to continue to add long on oil. There was this daily demand here, but really no 1-hour confirmation to go long from. We did technically get the confirmation, but this is just not a zone I want to be trading at. It's just too large. But at the end of the day, we do have very strong 1-hour uptrend on oil. Not quite a 4-hour uptrend just yet. So what I'm going to wait for are new 4-hour zones to be formed, and then I'll look for longs inside of those 4-hour demand zones on oil. So really not much else to say here. Really no setups at this moment. But hopefully throughout the week we will get some more setups, and I'll always be discussing these setups in the daily market breakdowns for the Diamond Mentorship program. So definitely check that out because unfortunately, when I do one video per week, one weekly Forex forecast every Friday, there's not always going to be, you know, a zone that I can point out that we could look to trade from. That is why I do it every day for the members. So hopefully that makes sense on oil. I'm very bullish oil. Just need to wait for new zones to be formed. To look for longs, and profits should be taken at about $88 a barrel, and longer term profits we could see oil skyrocket over to over $100 a barrel in my opinion in the near future. Hopefully you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If you did, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like and check out the Patreon or YouTube membership if you need help finding your supply and demand zones. It's only $5 CAD per month. Hope to see you guys there and hope to see you in the next video.